Hey, have you ever thought about buying a property near the water?
Oh, like a lake house or something?
Yeah, exactly. The idea sounds amazing, right? But there's a lot to consider, especially if the area is prone to flooding.
Flooding? Yeah, that could be a big problem.
It is. You know, being close to rivers or lakes means there's a risk of floods, especially in the spring when snow melts or during heavy rains.
Right. So what should people watch out for if they're thinking about buying in those areas?
Well, first off, understanding what a flood-prone area is crucial. These are regions that are at risk of flooding due to their proximity to water sources like rivers and lakes.
Makes sense. So how do you find out if a property is in one of these areas?
Good question. You should start by talking to local municipal officials. They have updated zoning plans and maps that show flood zones.
Oh, so the city hall would have that information?
Exactly. Additionally, checking the property's location certificate can help too, although if it's
Right.
outdated, you might need to do more research.
Are there online tools for this?
Yep, there are interactive maps provided by environmental ministries that show past flood areas and potential risks like the Geo
Okay.
Inundations map in Quebec.
That's really helpful. But I guess regulations are changing, right?
Yeah. Actually, Quebec government is planning to release new regulations and updated maps in spring 2024.
So areas could be reclassified?
Exactly. Areas previously known as 0-20-year or 0-100-year flood zones will be reclassified as high or medium risk zones.
Wow, so you really need to stay updated?
Absolutely. And when buying a property in these areas, there are 4 key steps you should take.
All right, let's hear them.
First, fully understand the risk level. Flood zones are often categorized based on flow rates.
Like how often they might flood?
Exactly. High velocity zones, for example, have a 5% chance of serious flooding each year, yeah? It's
Oh,
significant.
that's pretty high. And low velocity zones?
They have a 1% chance annually. Less risky, but still something to consider.
Got it. What's the second step?
Get the property inspected thoroughly. Previous floods might have caused hidden damages.
So hire a professional inspector?
Exactly. A professional can provide a detailed report and help
Right.
you anticipate repair costs and necessary precautions.
Makes total sense. What's next?
Third, learn about municipal regulations.
Like building codes and such?
Yes, check the city's official website for zoning and environmental bylaws and consult the Urban Planning Unit for information on renovations or expansions.
They might have restrictions, right?
Exactly. There could be limitations on what you can do with the property.
And the fourth step?
Evaluate the future condition of the land. Consider factors like climate change, which could increase flood risks over time.
Yeah. With the way weather patterns are changing, that's important.
Absolutely. Also, keep an eye on new regulations or large-scale projects that could affect the area's risk level.
Like new dams or levees?
Exactly. Infrastructure changes can significantly alter flood dynamics.
What about erosion?
Oh, that's a big one too. Soil erosion can compromise the stability of structures near the water.
So it's not just about flooding, but also about the ground beneath your feet.
Yeah, precisely.
How does insurance play into all this?
Well, getting insurance in flood-prone areas can be tricky. Some insurers might exclude flood coverage or charge higher premiums.
So you might end up paying more for less coverage?
Unfortunately, yes. Insurance companies assess the property's location, flood history, and protective measures when setting rates.
That's good to know. Could it also affect property value?
Definitely. Flood risk can lower a property's investment value because it might deter potential buyers in the future.
And what about financing?
Financing can be challenging. Some financial institutions might refuse to finance properties in high-risk zones or impose strict conditions.
Like larger down payments or requiring flood mitigation measures?
Exactly. For instance, some banks might require a 35% down payment and evidence of protective measures like elevation or barriers.
That's pretty substantial.
It is, so buyers need to be prepared for that possibility.
Living in a flood-prone area sounds challenging.
It can be. There are also lifestyle considerations like potential evacuations during flood warnings.
Oh, right, you might have to leave your home temporarily.
Exactly. Plus, you could face temporary losses of electricity and drinking water.
And the stress that comes with constant worry about flooding.
Yes, the psychological and emotional burden can be significant.
So what can homeowners do to mitigate these risks?
They should adhere to building standards, have an emergency safety plan, and invest in protective measures like pumps or barriers.
Being proactive is key then.
Absolutely. Despite the risks, with proper research and precautions, it's possible to enjoy living by the water.
That's reassuring. So it's all about balancing the beauty and the risks.
Yes, and making an informed decision.
Well, this has been really enlightening.
I'm glad. If someone's thinking about selling a property in Quebec, there are services like Duproprio that help sell without commission.
Oh, that's useful to know.
Yeah, they offer support services, and you can reach them at 1-866-387-7677 or watch their informational videos.
Great resources for homeowners.
Definitely. So, while buying property in flood-prone areas comes with challenges, being well-informed makes all the difference.
Couldn't agree more. Thanks for sharing all this.